Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek. You're watching Kevin the Geek, and welcome back to the final two episodes of Series 3 of Goodnight Sweetheart. I don't really know what kind of conclusion we're building up to with the series finale. It's a difficult one because they've sort of been ebbing and flowing backwards and forwards, and when I think that something's going to happen and I think that they'll be able to, it goes all tits up. So I've got no idea. What I do know is that the Yanks are coming. Apparently the Yanks are coming in this episode.
Goodnight, sweetheart.
The Yanks are here.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Billy Joe McCarthy, Braintree, Alabama, U.S. of A.
You're coloured chaps.
Reg is a policeman. He's trained to be observant.
Oh. I have a feeling I know where this episode is going. Because you got that main bloke, the sergeant or whatever, he's from like Alabama. Oh, this is going to be a very racist episode, I can feel it.
So you think you may have relatives here now?
Oh, I'm hoping so.
Well, what was your great-granddad's name?
Oh, Deadman? Yeah, Daft Jack Deadman.
This here's a white man's bar.
I think you should behave yourself, Billy Joe. I don't want any trouble. Everyone is welcome here.
But if you don't mind, I'm just going to get my beer from the other bar with it. It was just a little bit cleaner. You don't ban the colors from this pub. These boys are going to take them out by force. Step out of the way, Reggie, now. Let these MPs do their duty.
It's Constable Deadman to you.
Oh, go
I
on,
think your
Judge.
MP friends will tell you I have authority here.
We ain't heard the last of this yet.
Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Oh, God. I want to say that's a good episode, but it's very hard to say that a very, 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 very racially insensitive episode like that is in any way good. I mean, like compared to that episode, you know, Rising Damp, he's the tamest thing that's out there, you know. Oh my God, it's bloody insane, isn't it? The unfortunate thing is, you know, if you're gonna do a time travel show, eventually, at some point, you're gonna deal with some aspects of history that are less than pleasant. It's safe to say. And the unfortunate thing beyond that is I wish that we could say it was confined to history. I wish we could say that nobody's racist. I wish we could say that no one is homophobic, that no one is religiously insensitive. It always seems like there's a new type of stereotype or prejudice or, you know, whatever, towards an ethnic group or a disability or whatever. If there was one thing I wish I could do, time travel wise, I wish I could see that in the future it would actually be just a world in which racism does not exist, that homophobia doesn't exist, that transphobia doesn't exist, that religious hatred does not exist. I wish that I could see that future. Because, as I said, you go into any period of the past, there is going to be something offensive. And I think the only thing you can say for this one is it provides a certain level of education for those who maybe were not aware of some of the things that would have gone on during the war, that, back in America, there was segregation. And that they even imposed that same segregation within the armed forces all over the world. It was a horrible episode to witness. Do I feel the guy got his just desserts? No, not really, because everything that Phoebe or Gary or Reg tried to do to counter it, he had an answer for, and because he would have had superior officers who would have had an answer for it. So Gary's punched him, and some of the other guys are going to go, well, no, you had a fight and you lost fair and square. But it's still going to segregate the whites against the blacks. Not until, I don't know, when did segregation end? Was it like the 70s, 80s, something like that? So I feel it was definitely a thing in the 60s, wasn't it? Because there was obviously that Doctor Who episode, the Rosa Parks episode, which I'm trying to remember when. Hang on, when did segregation end? I feel it's something like the 70s. I feel it's got to be the 70s. No, it was the 60s actually. Yeah, there's a few different things, like the Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act of 65, the Fair Housing Act of 68. So yeah, sort of mid to late 60s is when it kind of happened. Although there was apparently there was, to a certain degree, segregation in the UK. So although they've highlighted it with the Americans, they've not really done it in the UK. Apparently that would have been within the Race Relations Act of 1965. So yeah, I wish we could say that the Brits got off scot-free and the Americans were the evil ones, but we were just as bad. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Like I said, it tarnishes our history, but it is our history. And we have to accept that. We have to accept that we have done and said horrible things. We have to accept that us as individuals have said stuff that we will not be proud of. I've said stuff I know in my past. I may not be able to remember specific examples, but we've said stuff that when you think back at it and you think about it with a much more clearer head, you're much more aware of what you have said and how it could be negative and stereotyped. Like, again, something I think of that it was just one of those things that was said. So we had a guy who owned a corner shop around the corner from me when I was a kid. His name was Paul, and pretty much everyone I knew, and we're talking, for me, from the age of sort of like 6, 7, 8, when I'd be sent to shop, you'd be told to go to P. Paul's, yeah. As we got older, it became a bit of a running joke in a way amongst people that said, oh no, you can't call him P. Paul, you have to call him ethnic minority Paul. And again, like, you look at that And I think back to that time, the excuse of ignorance can't be excused. Once I, there was a certain point that you say something without knowing it. Once you cross the threshold of knowing what a word or phrase, what connotations it has, you can't use it. And if you continue to use it, you got no defense if someone calls you racially insensitive or a racist or whatever. And I'm not proud of that. I should have known better. I look back at that and I am to a certain extent ashamed. But that's what I grew up with. That's what I was sort of taught. And then this is the thing. It's all about nature versus nurture. No kid is ever born racist. I was speaking to my nephew the other day. He's 5, and he had a lad in his course, class, whatever. Who's he's black, and if you ask him what colour's this boy's skin, he'd say brown. And if you asked him what colour his skin is, he'd say pink. He's not white or black. He's just another kid who he plays with, who he shares toys with. That's it. If you teach your kids to be racist, to be homophobes, to be transphobes, whatever, then you are the problem. It's as simple as that. That went a lot deeper than I thought we were going to go. So, obviously, we've got one more episode. Last episode of Series 3 will come out on YouTube later on tonight. So please do make sure you subscribe as always, turn on notifications, drop your comments down below, join the Patreon if you want to get the early access. But until next time, my name is Kevin. I'm a geek. You've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.